Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Horror Heathen YouTube channel and the South Jersey Horror Podcast, the very last episode of 2024. And there is not a better way to end the year with a special guest of Elise, I'm sorry, Muller,
Muller.
no,
And my
Devereaux.
married
Okay.
name is
Yeah.
Devereaux.
Okay. Elise Muller Devereaux, who plays Lynn in one of the creepiest movies I ever watched, Dolls from 2019. So, seeing how this is the last episode of 2024, I'm gonna keep my talking to a minimum and let Lynn just take the floor. So,
Lynn, yes, yes.
I'm sorry, God, what am I doing? Jesus Christ, I'm sorry.
Elise.
At
Elise
least,
Muller, yes.
I'm telling at least Mueller take the floor. I'm just asking. We all know how this goes. I asked the basic questions. There may be some leading questions, maybe some follow-up questions, etc. So I talk too much. Just tell me to shut up, okay? Um,
No, you're fine.
thank
Was I
you.
just
Yeah.
sideways? But by the way, my former agent was just calling in and I saw me flip like this. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Okay, go ahead. She was just doing it. I'm like, Nancy, not now, not now.
So please, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give me a warm welcome to Elise Muller Devereaux. Thank you so much,
Yay.
and welcome to the shows.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Benjamin. I go by Elise Muller, just FYI for my stage name, but my
Okay.
married name is so much more debonair and exciting. Devereaux. It's actually very like Catherine Deneuve, you know. But I've had Elise Muller for so long, so I've been going by Muller, just FYI. But maybe I should change it to Devereaux. What do you think? What say you?
But I am man. I have no opinion. So
Oh, okay. Sure. No problem.
I don't, I
So
don't, I don't like. So I have no opinion. You do what you want. I mean, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
So you wanted to ask me about dolls.
yes. But first of all, to get to know you better on a more personal level,
Okay.
if you could, you know, enlighten us, maybe the audience, if they want to hear this part or not, I don't know. If they do, if they don't, too bad. They're gonna hear it anyway. Um,
Right.
we would like to know a little bit about yourself and why you pursued acting.
Okay. So I grew up in Chicago, in the North Shore of Chicago, and I was raised by a single parent, my mother. My father was unfortunately and sadly killed in Vietnam in the war a month before I was born. And this was during a time where it wasn't very prevalent that that this was going on, single parents with only children. It was sort of like an anomaly kind of back then. Not really, but most anyway. So I was raised by my mother. I have no siblings, and my mother loved movies and she loved certain television shows we'd watch together. And I think the reason why I became an actress is because my mother enjoyed it so much. She enjoyed watching all her favorite actors or movie stars. And I really enjoyed my time with my mother like that. And I think I wanted to make my mom proud. Plus, I wanted to be an actress, but I was really kind of painfully shy, which is kind of an oxymoron. It's a little bit strange, but I was a bit shy as a child. And so I kind of felt like this was maybe a way that I could, break out of my shell, if you will, kind of blossom. And so I, grew up in Northbrook and Glencoe, and I went to school. I went to school where John Hughes went to my high
Okay.
school. All the, Home Alone and 16 Candles and Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Breakfast Club. And now he was older, but he based all his movies, Pretty in Pink, like on the high school I went to. So that was pretty cool. And oddly enough, I never actually was in any of his movies, not even as an extra, but they were all filmed in, where I grew up. And so from there, I went to high school, Glenbrook North, and then I went to the University of Arizona, where I got my degree in acting, directing, and a double minor in radio, television, and art. So I got my BFA, and then I went back to Chicago and did acting and modeling in Chicago, and worked at the Olive Garden part time as a hostess when everyone else was getting their big jobs. their, careers. I was kind of trying to be an actress and do modeling, and I was offered a contract, actually two contracts to Japan, to model in Japan, in Osaka. And I didn't do that. Instead, I went to Los Angeles and I pursued my career as an actress. Well, I did a little bit of acting in Chicago. I did Curly Sue and some things and ads and Sears catalogs and Amway and just international. Yeah, I know. Mineral water ads and all sorts of catalog work. Then I moved to Los Angeles and moved in with a roommate from college and pursued my career as an actress.
Wow, that's a lot.
Was that a long run-on sentence? I don't know.
No, it's okay. I mean, rewind it a little bit. I think at one point, a lot of actors started out as waiters and waitresses somewhere. So,
right, and I did as well. Yeah, when I moved to Los Angeles, I was a waitress at 3 Orthodox kosher restaurants, and I'm a shiksa. See, I don't know if you know what a shiksa is. Do you know what it's just a blonde, white blonde, non-Jew. And the Jewish people know, they laugh. You're like, yes, you're a shiksa. The blonde, the blonde. Anyway, so it's kind of ironic. I worked for Steven Spielberg's mother at a Orthodox restaurant, and she was a hoot. She was pretty funny. And anyway, and I got an agent, and I started auditioning, and I started booking television and movies. Yeah. So
it's strange how culture plays like a big role in everyone's lives. Like for me, for example, my aunt Sandra Alexander was our family historian. So she did the whole ancestry digging around ancestry.com, lineage, whatever it was, and found out I am 0.2% Southern Jewish or Cajun Jewish. I'm like, what is Cajun Jewish?
So you're like a Creole. You're Creole.
I guess, but I'm like, which makes sense because my mother's side is down from they all live that part of the United States, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. I mean, which kind of makes sense, but Cajun Jewish, I've never heard of it before, but I had to look it up. I was like, oh my God, it actually exists.
Yeah, it does exist. Of course it exists. I'm Irish, German, Scottish, and English.
And I'm like a Heinz 57, so I'm everything.
So you're like me. You're like me. So
but mainly French, Scotch, Irish, and German. So
okay.
But a little bit of Norwegian with me too. So
yes.
But my parents never tell if the red beard is for the Norwegian side or the Irish side. They have no idea. So
I mean, you look kind of Nordic to me. If you're gonna ask me my opinion, but I mean, you can be
cool because I got where to go. There it is. The Nordic compass, the Viking compass.
Oh wow,
so
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm hugely into my Viking heritage. Anyway, we digressed. So
yes.
I see, Judd, looking at your IMDb page, you've been in several horror movies, Mayday, Deadly Beloved, Baghead, Revamps, and Raging Sharks. Movies I've never heard of before, but now I'm going to go watch them because I'm curious.
Well, Raging Sharks and Hammerhead or Sharkman, they're for Sci-Fi Channel. So some of those are horror and some of those are sci-fi, but they kind of like intermix in a way, horror sci-fi genre. And some of them were strict contracted for the Sci-Fi Channel.
Well, according to IMDb, they're categorized as horror, so that's why I had to list them off. But anyway, how do these movies compare to the change of pace for Dolls? I mean, there's going to be some kind of transition for it.
Earlier, I think Dolls was that Dolls 2019, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. So some of those other films I did were kind of earlier in my career. And so they're all sort of different. Some of them were like shot in Bulgaria on location. Some of them, like Baghead, was sort of like a Blair Witch Project kind of thing. It was a script, but it was also a lot of room for improvisation. So sometimes we'd actually stick to a script for certain films, and sometimes it was loosey-goosey, or not loosey-goosey, but you had a little bit more liberties to, or liberty to, kind of take it somewhere else if you
Yeah.
wanted to. So Dolls was scripted. It was two script, and that was a fun film that I did with my friend Jeff Miller. He does a lot of these horror films, and he's doing a lot of films actually. And yeah, we had a really good cast, and Dee Wallace was in it, so that was exciting. I got to work with Dee. Well, I didn't work with Dee Wallace. I saw her at the wrap party at the screening. But it was kind of cool because I grew up watching her in like E.T. and things like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, I'm actually in a movie with someone I saw when I was a kid. So anyway, that was cool.
Definitely a golden era actress. I'm still trying to get on my show, but I had a really hard time.
Yeah, no, she was super nice, so cool. Yeah, I met her and she was like, great job. I'm like, what? Dee Wallace said I did a great job. How exciting. Or is it Dee Wallace Stone?
Yeah,
It's not Dee Wallace Stone. It's just Dee Wallace now, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So, your character Lynn, in your own perspective, can you tell us, like aside from what the audience sees in the movie, can you tell us her story from your own concepts?
Dee Wallace, my Lynn, my character, she was sort of, I don't want to say she's bitchy. She's not bitchy because everybody has their sides to them. They might categorize them as bitchy, but she had gone through a lot. She's a real estate agent, and she's kind of like not Beverly Hills like, but she's going through, a divorce with her. Well, she's divorced from her ex-husband who's an alcoholic. And anytime you have a journey like that, there's going to be, some conflict. And so my character comes across as somewhat of a kind of, bitchy, out for her own kind of deal. But it's really not like that. If you look deeper into the story, you kind of understand when you're dealing with an alcoholic husband or an alcoholic spouse, in some ways you'll be regarded as the bad guy if you're leaving them, because how could you leave someone who's down and out on their luck? But anyway, so my character the character gets more revealed that she's not as bad of a, ice princess as she initially might come across.
Right.
So
So,
that's my take. Yeah, go ahead.
but yeah, I mean, I totally understand. I mean, if you find yourself in an unsafe situation, you definitely want to get the hell out of Dodge because you don't want to stick around for that stuff.
No, I mean, and
Uh,
the ironic thing is I went through this own, this is probably a personal thing, but this kind of situation with my own husband, who actually is recovered now from alcoholism. So the irony is I actually went through this in my own real life with now he's recovered. He had a spiritual experience with God, and we got married. But it was like I went through
yeah.
my time with him in his addiction. So, however, Lynn in the movie does not stick by her man when he's going through his worst,
I
worst.
can kind of relate. My parents divorced because my father had a drinking problem, so I understand.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I
yeah,
stood by my husband. I mean,
mm,
so that's a big deal because he was at the end, like Mr. Had a lot, and then I was almost penniless in the Salvation
yeah,
Army. And I stood by him. And now, we have a franchise and, with his brother. And so life is great. No, no, I mean, it can come back, something
yeah.
like that. Not to go into this dire kind of story, but yeah, in that movie Dolls, I kind of play, I'm estranged from my ex-husband who is an alcoholic.
Got it.
So
Totally got it. Okay. Um,
yeah.
this movie, I had to say, now that I remember, since we're talking about more, it's very unique on its own way. Um, I want to know how the energy was being channeled on set while filming. What was it like?
Oh, the energy. Well, first of all, we shot in this really, I don't want to say creepy house because I don't want the people who own the house to see that. No, I'm kidding. But it was a very dark energy kind of house. So it did have that element of like creepiness. And so I think anytime you're in a setting like that, the environment that you're shooting in has a lot to play in what transgresses in the film or in filming. and comes across. So there was definitely some creepy moments. And like myself, my character, those dolls are just they hit me in the face. They break my nose with an iron. Yeah. And I get
Yeah.
impaled
Yeah.
on a Christmas tree stand. I mean, they're not nice dolls. So,
Bad
so you
dolls,
didn't
bad
get
dolls.
the bad dolls. You didn't get a chance to see it, but you need to see it so you can actually
Yeah.
see. That's always fun to do those kind of crazy kind of shoots. But anyway,
Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, aside from the, the creepy environment and the ominous, scenes,
yeah.
were there any, at any point, were you scared at all?
Was I scared? I have a bathtub scene, and that was kind of creepy. You don't see anything. They're like, "Oh, bathtub scene," but it was kind of like weird when the door is kind of like creeping open, and I wouldn't say I'm a method actor, but I do imagine myself in the situation in the moment is how I kind of, I don't go back to a past thing. The way I do it is I try to live in the moment as if. And I have to say, I was kind of freaking myself out. You know, the mind can do that. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like, and I said on my reel, actually, you kind of, I need that because that's a good little clip.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny and scary and anyway, yeah.
I just get I have four dogs, and they are very, very nosy dogs. So, and in order when I take a shower, I have to keep the door cracked a little bit so I can actually hear what's going on while I'm taking a shower. And I hear the door creak open. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I'm looking at
Yeah.
the shower curtain, and my dog's nose is like this. Like, hey, Dad, how you doing, Dad?
Yeah. It's like, yeah. I know if I
Like,
stay home by myself, my husband's not here, and the dogs, there was a noise, but there was the wind. And I was like, but the dogs are like this too. We were all kind of like, what was that? Like, but our dogs are they can be vicious if they want to be, but we were all kind of like, and I'm sure they could hear my heart because my
yeah,
heart was beating so loud. I felt like it was going to come out of my chest. But anyway, so fear of the
yeah,
unknown or noises, always scary,
yeah,
Yeah. And that's kind
yeah,
of like dolls. Like,
yeah,
although
yeah.
the dolls are actually there, but the creaking of the door and all that, very scary. So,
So I've noticed in horror movies, like they started making dolls look more realistic, and it's phenomenal on how they do it.
yeah.
Um, they've always been a source, like a deep staple in horror movies, and like the fear for everybody. And I wish what do they call it, pedophobia. I think I can't remember what it's called. Um,
Oh,
yeah, fear of children and stuff like that. It kind of associates with dolls a little bit. So, but it makes the perfect staple for a horror movie. But did the dolls at any time appear real to you on set?
yeah, when I was up and there was kind of an attic part of the house, and I believe we shot in Pasadena. It was an old, kind of like a historical looking house in Pasadena. And up in this attic, they were all like lined up. And I have to say, I was like, I don't know.
Like,
I was like in my head, like, what? Like, no.
someone give me a flamethrower, please, or a torch, something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's kind of
I,
creepy.
I hate dolls. I can't stand them. That just
Really.
there's two things in this world I'm afraid of: is dolls and snakes. So,
My husband doesn't like snakes too.
but I'm not afraid of spiders. I look at a spider like, oh, look how cute it is. You know,
I hate
I'm not
spiders.
afraid of spiders, but snakes I cannot stand. I went to a pet store one time, and you pay $1 to feed a snake. You would give it a mouse or a rat or something. And I had the mouse hanging off the cage, and the snake went. Whoosh. I was like, oh God. So
Yeah, I give you $1 to take the snake away. How about that?
scared
Yeah,
the hell out of myself. Like, never again. Now I know how quick they can be. I'm like, nope, I will never go near a snake again. So
that's crazy.
yeah,
One time I was in Hawaii with my mom and her boyfriend, her then boyfriend, and I remember we were fishing with a bamboo pole, and it was these little volcanic, like little um not ponds, but little puddles of water. And I had
Yeah.
a chunk of salami and I was dunking it next to this like little crab. And it was the same thing. All of a sudden the crab went, and I was like, ah, and I dropped the pole because like, oh my God, that thing was like, you're like ding, ding, ding. And then it was like grabbing it, probably like the snake did with you. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
So yeah. But
Yeah.
dolls are number one. A friend of mine who lives 2 blocks over, she decorates her yard like fantastically every year for Halloween. And her name's Holly, and she's a really cool person. And a couple years ago, she did Island of the Dolls in her front yard. And
Oh,
I was like, I am not gonna drive past her house anytime soon while that exhibit is up because
they are kind
so
of creepy. I remember I had a Elise dolls, like my name, Elise, and I collected them. And there was a short little time stint that I collected
yeah,
these Elise dolls, but I didn't. But yeah, you're kind of like looking at them like, and I had Barbies too and stuff like that. But I was like, I don't know. I can see where you could think they're a little bit creepy. Plus, in movies when the dolls get like possessed, it's like kind of
yeah.
like,
Nope,
yeah,
no, no. Like Annabelle, screw that noise. Not happening.
yeah, exactly,
But yeah,
exactly,
but
yeah.
her whole entire front yard side is just dolls. Like she had over 200 dolls in her front yard for Halloween. It was crazy. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I love you, Harley,
Now
but I'm not going to your yard.
I'm gonna go the other way. Now, where are you located? You're in
New Jersey, yes.
Jersey. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never been. No, I have been there on the way to New York, but that's it. I've never hung out there.
It's a
But
good thing
anyway,
too.
a lot of mafia guys there, huh?
Yeah, you think so. But okay,
Uh,
so
You're like,
um
okay.
the movie has some very wild settings, as you described. It's the creepy house in Pasadena, and Pasadena is known for hauntings and possessions, all that crap like that.
Yeah.
So you talk about the bathtub scene and how you underwent some pretty intense situations. I mean, who wouldn't in a doll movie? Um, what was it like filming some wilder scenes like you're like impaled a Christmas tree or being in the bathtub? What was
Um,
that like from your own perspective?
well, first time I heard bathtub scene, I thought, okay, these guys want to, see me naked or something weird. They're like, uh, we're not going to see anything. We don't want to see anything. I'm like, what? No, but you're covered. It was
Yeah,
very not G, but you know what I mean? You all of a sudden you just pick up and I'm in a tub. You think shower, bath, horror movie, you're gonna see, yeah. So anyway, so I'm covered up, but it was interesting. We had the bubbles placed, appropriately, covering certain things, and all these candles lit. So it was a nice, creepy setting. And the same thing with the impalement. A great makeup artist, and the makeup artist ended up doing our wedding, doing my makeup
wow,
for the wedding. Yeah, but
that's
I
cool.
mean, obviously, I'm got like a broken nose, a lot of
Yeah,
blood, you know. And in the impalement, I get, they trip me with a wire, and I fall on a Christmas tree stand. That's why I'm impaled on a Christmas tree stand.
okay.
And so that's how I die. So all those kind of mechanics of making like this crazy death are pretty interesting and fun in a way, because it's like movie magic, right? All of a sudden you're like,
Yeah,
and then slowly the dolls are like pulling me out of camera after my death, my big death scene. So it's extra like, oh my God, scary. But it was fun. It's super fun when you do that. I mean, like in Hammerhead, I get eaten by a half man, half shark, shark in Bulgaria. So I've had some interesting death scenes. Actually, David Hasselhoff, I guest starred on Baywatch Nights many years ago in the beginning of my career in TV. And David Hasselhoff was like, don't take this the wrong way, but you die really well. I'm like, thanks, I guess.
a compliment, not that. It's a compliment. I mean,
Yeah. I was like, thank you.
especially
Yeah.
coming from the Hoff, it's a huge compliment. So,
That was a
um,
compliment. Yeah. I was like, cool, cool.
so, so do you
And
have
it,
any
oh,
Oh, go ahead.
and in that show, that was Baywatch Nights was about the paranormal. And in that, I play a prostitute that gets killed by a vampire. That's after David Hasselhoff's character. Just a little side note. I get
Wait a
killed by
minute.
a vampire.
They made a Baywatch paranormal.
Yeah, that's what it was about. It was
I've
Baywatch
never. Oh,
at night, and at night they're fighting the paranormal. So yeah,
I've never. I have. Why have I not ever heard of this? I mean,
this is the shows I get. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I get it like all it's
well,
it's the
I've never
side, the
heard.
one-off show that they put me on. No, I'm
What's it called?
kidding.
It's called
But
Baywatch Nights. Is that what it's called?
yeah, because that's when the paranormal comes out. The creepy stuff comes out at night, right? So it's in the night that they're fighting all the demons.
I have got to check that out. It sounds fascinating for some reason. I'm intrigued now because I
Oh
just want to
yeah,
check that out.
you should see some of my stuff. Like very interesting. The stuff I don't know, but anyway,
I
it is
just
what it is.
I've heard of Baywatch obviously, but I've never heard of Baywatch Nights.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah. No, I've read for Baywatch. I used to read for Baywatch many times, and I knew the casting directors. They knew me, and then I read for Baywatch Nights and got that one. So funny. I remember my co-star. I was like, she was chewing gum in the lobby, and I was like looking at her. I'm like, "You're gonna chew your gum when you go in there, like to producers?" And she's like, "Who the hell are you?" I'm like, "Are you gonna do that in there? That's good." And meanwhile, we're on the set. I'm like, "Hey, remember me in the lobby?" And anyway, so we were like a team of prostitutes on the show. Yeah,
hold up. You hear that, folks? There's a Baywatch Nights. I'm gonna Google that shit when I'm done with this interview and just see
yeah,
what because I want to find out what Baywatch. I don't mean to walk get off topic here, but Baywatch. Now I'm very very intrigued, and I'm gonna check
yeah.
this out as soon as I'm doing the interview. I'm gonna Google the shit out of it. Probably piss my wife off too at the same time. But she's like, "Oh my god, another one." So she hates the fact that I Google almost everything and I have to watch everything. But you know what? It's what I do. So
You should watch my episode of Beyond Belief. It's called The
yeah,
Golden Q.
I'm gonna write
And
that
I
down too.
play Donna. My character in this is Donna, and I do this one thing where it's like a Jersey accent. I think I'm like, play him, Nikki. You can't lose. It's 50 grand. Suddenly, and that's the only line is like that. I did like Jersey esque. Like I'm like, where is that the rest of the show, Elise? You know what I mean? It was kind of funny. We're like in a pool hall, and is it fact or fiction? So look that one up, Benjamin.
So it's called Beyond Belief, the Golden Cube.
It's Dick Clark's Beyond Belief.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm spacing out the guy's name that was the host. He was on Star Trek.
William Shatner,
No, he was on the new Star Trek, and he was a host.
Jean, Patrick Stewart.
No,
I,
another
I,
guy.
I'm not a track guy, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, me neither. But
I'm not
anyway,
sure.
he's the host, and you can look it up. It's the Golden Q, and I'm Donna in the Golden Q.
The Golden Cube.
And
Okay,
the whole show, the whole premise of the show is fact or fiction. Did it happen, or was it made up?
gotcha. Okay, so
You're like,
a,
okay.
a, a question I'd love to ask all my guests on my shows is if you could have had any other role in the movie, who would it be and why?
Any other role in what movie?
Dolls, 2019, that one.
Oh, and Dolls.
Yeah,
Trinity's Simpson, she's really good. She's a teenager, and she was a really good actress, fine actress. I don't know if she's still acting or not, but her role was really good because she's playing kind of play, but she's a teenager, a thwarted, angry teenager. I mean, I thought her role was really good. I thought she did a nice job. Um, I mean, I couldn't play Dee Wallace's role. Like, I'm in between both of those actresses' ages.
yeah.
And so, I played what I played, you know what I mean? I don't think there were any other parts in it. But it was a fine cast and we had a really nice time. And yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do those kind of films. I haven't done any horror films. I do have a movie coming out. It's probably one of the questions you're going to ask me coming up. Is that on your
Yeah.
list? Okay.
Through the Circle or Runaway Killer?
No, neither of those.
Okay.
Red Pine City. Red Pine City.
Red Pine City.
Okay,
Okay.
Mike. I shot that film in Canada. Okay, sorry about that. That's my Canadian. They love that when I pull that up there. Anyway, Red Pine
Blame
City
Canada. Oh,
is what?
blame Canada.
Yeah. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. No. So my co-star is Rick Ravanello, fine actor, and Eric Roberts. And so we take down a mob boss. I play this country music pop singer, songwriter. So I'm like, I do a little bit of everything, and I go up and I meet this kind of renegade guy played by Rick Ravanello and take down a mob boss. So it's very, it's a very probable,
Okay.
you know, probable storyline that would happen in reality, but it's a movie and it's fun. But anyway, it's supposed to come out. I shot this 2 years ago. I'm not sure why it's not released yet, but that's a film that I'm waiting to that's going to be coming out soon. So
It's funny how you mentioned Eric Roberts. I am also in a movie with Eric Roberts as well, which is
oh
really
yeah.
cool. So yes, the movie's called The Farmhouse Murders. It is being released next year in spring. Um, I play a podcaster named Phil in the movie. So I have a very short scene. It's like 5 lines long. That's it. But that's my only. It's the only scene I have. But Eric Roberts is in it, and tons of actors and actresses that if I give you a list of names, you'll recognize every single one of them. So,
Sure.
but yeah, but Eric Roberts he plays the mayor in the movie, and like I said, I have a short remote role that I did for the movie, which is very first thing I ever did in my entire life. So, yeah, it's I'm looking forward to see the release next year. But
Were you nervous doing it?
no, because I was already in my element. I mean, I do podcasting anyway as a hobby, so
Yeah. Yeah. And
speaking to
so
a
you
camera
were,
and microphones, yeah, it just came
yeah.
natural. So.
Yeah.
I have my lines taped up on my screen up here so I can look at the camera but I can look at the camera saying my lines without making it look like I'm looking at my lines. So if that makes
Yep.
sense. So
Yep.
yeah,
I did a movie where I played another lead singer. It was one of my first films for Roger Corman. You know Roger Corman, right? It's
yes.
like an iconic producer. And I was the lead. And I remember saying to them, "Are you guys going to get cue cards for me?" Because I played with a real band and I'm playing a singer. And they're like, "You need it?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you want me to make it look like it's I'm really singing, it will help me. I can pick it up. And I've done this in other shows too. Jimmy Kimmel, I did the Jimmy Kimmel show for them to get cue cards so I can pick up a line or something like that and make it look like it's a natural performance. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I agree
awesome.
with you
That's
with that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, unfortunately, it's all the time we have left. I have about
Okay.
4 minutes left. So Zoom's gonna cut us off being an asshole, but you know how Zoom is because no, I'm not gonna upgrade the Pro. Stop asking me. Anyway,
I know. I keep getting these notifications. I should have turned off my notifications. They keep going bloop, bloop, bloop as I'm speaking to you. I'm like, why did I leave that on? Anyway.
So, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the beautiful, the talented Elise Muller, who plays Lynn in Dolls 2019. We talked about her upcoming roles. Baywatch Nights, you got to check that out now. It's on my list. So, um, thank you so much for joining me tonight. You've been a wonderful guest, and you've been fantastic. And it's been an honor and a pleasure talking to you. Um, I wish you nothing but success in your future and your career as an actress. And I will see you on the big screen.
Yes, you will. Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank,
Thank you for the time.
thank,
And it was a fun interview. Thank you so much.
thank you so
And
much.
Merry
The pleasure's all
Christmas.
mine. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New
Happy
Year. There we
holidays.
go.
Okay.
Hey, take care.
You gotta keep them separated.